All right. So, for those of you all that have already signed up for the performance mindset, this is one of the first lessons. You may have actually learned it before if you had like an intro with me, but I love this concept because Quantum Goal Mountain essentially is why I accomplish so many of my goals ahead of everybody else. Because I don't operate on the world that we see outside. I'm gonna make like a little outside window because I'm looking out. I operate on the quantum world, and the quantum world gets things done without time being a restraint, without work being a restraint. It's the source of information. It's the source code. So we're gonna go to the source code when it comes to our goals. So I call this quantum goal mountain because a lot of people are familiar with the idea of climbing a mountain, and they often feel like they are climbing a mountain when it comes to their goals. So we're going to put you here on the left side, and let's make you blue. Yay! And we're going to put your goal over here. And your goals could be representative of like a present. Okay? Your goal could be money. Your goal could be love. Your goal could be a trip. It could be health. That's my little brain there. There we go. Now it has two lobes. So your goal could be so many different things, right? And I'm just going to give you a new hairstyle because that wasn't working for me. So there you go. A little bit of hair. Cool. So you have this goal, and you've been taught your whole entire life that if you do certain things, work, we're going to represent that with a W, that you're going to receive a reward. And your reward is whatever thing that you decided was over here. Well, if you've lived on the world for, more than a day, then you realize that it doesn't always work out that way. Just because you put in work towards something doesn't mean that you accomplished your goal. Just because you put energy into something doesn't mean you accomplished your goal. And just because you put time doesn't mean that you accomplished your goal. All right? And people, society, will try to convince you that if you do all these little things, work, time, energy, that you'll win. But just like if you were climbing up a mountain, you may not make it to the top. There's no guarantee. You may not even make it halfway. You may get to the top, the hardest part being the representative here, not realize it's the hardest part, and turn back around. Or, just give us a little bit of clarity here, you may realize that you don't have enough time to do this. You may not have enough time, you may not have enough energy to do this. You may just lose hope. Either way, that doesn't really matter for anything we're going to talk about. What we're going to talk about is how you get here when you're currently here without having to put in all of the extra work, all the extra time, and all the extra energy. And we do this by learning the quantum realm over the macro realm or the physical world that you see. Go into the source code instead of living classical physics. Now, for anyone that doesn't understand quantum physics, we're going to have to take a slight little detour. Okay? Quantum physics is known as the world that operates on this tiny level. This tiny level where electrons are. We're going to put E negative for electrons. Okay? Now these electrons don't operate in the same type of way that we operate. And I'll give you an example. If you are currently in Miami, Florida, your physical body's in Miami, Florida, it's not currently in Dubai right now, or Australia, or Europe, or Connecticut, whatever, right? If you are living purely off the classical way of living, you'll say that that's not possible. But if you live off the quantum way, 100% it's possible. And we do this through a process called superposition. Superposition. And it's actually one word, but I only have so much room. So here we go. I'll hyphenate it. Superposition. Okay? Superposition basically says that an electron can be in one place at the same time that it's on another place. You have dual places. Now, that is fascinating and terrifying at the same time. It's terrifying because no one's probably ever told you that this is real science and that they've proven this. What's terrifying is yeah, just that. No one's ever told you what I'm about to teach you because it goes against a lot of what reality means for us. But the cool thing is that if you do learn this process, that you can actually use this to be able to accomplish your goals, which is why you're here, right? You're at Quantum Mountain. So you do this through accessing the quanta world, and you can do this through a process called meditation. Now, those of you all that work with me know that I like to combine a few different modalities to be able to rewire the mindset and help you get to your goals. So, quick review because you've probably already heard me say a few of them. I'm going to go through the four I use. Okay? I use quantum physics, quanta. I use Christian principles. Whoa, who would have thought that they would have been together? And then I use neuroscience because that's my Western licenses and all of my degrees. And then finally, I use spirituality. Spirituality is reality. And here we go. So I use all four of these and I bridge them together or I marry them to meet whoever I'm coaching at their level of consciousness or their level of comfortability, whatever one aligns. Okay. So when I go through all four of these to be able to help you accomplish your goals, that's what's happening. Okay. So we are going to kind of lean into a bit of that spirituality, but also a bit of neuroscience. Okay. So I'm going to go on a huge limb here and say that if you were where you were wanting to be, which is over here, and you knew how to get there, you would already be there. And you would do that through all of the source code, aka information, things that you've learned throughout your life, and apply it to get there. But here's the thing, you're not there yet. And that's because you need more code. That's why we're going to the quantum realm. That's why we're sourcing information. In spirituality, what they'll say is everything is already within you. You just need to go within and find it. And what is in you will eventually show up outside of you. Whoa. Yes, all four of these are always together. And let me do one more for neuroscience sake. If you rewire your brain to a new pathway, you'll be able to access that pathway to accomplish your goal. This is why we're at quantum realm. We're going to go access it through meditation, which is a spiritual practice, but also a Christian practice, to be able to download new information in order to get to our goal. Why is that so important? Because when you do that, you are saving yourself a lot. What are you saving yourself? Time, energy, work, and failure. Okay, remember, if we start going up this mountain, there's no guarantee that we get to the other side, right? All of these things can come into play and interrupt that for us, even whenever we've already accomplished the hardest part. I'm here to tell you that neuroscience and quantum physics and even Christianity and spirituality have taught us how to avoid that parent trap. Look at this mountain one more time. This gorgeous mountain here, right? The gorgeous mountain actually has two ways to get from here to here. We've been talking about the one way, going up the mountain, going down, okay? But actually, and this is even in the physical world, there's another way to get through mountains. And if you've ever been a miner, you know exactly what I'm about to say. We're going to go through the mountain. You can go through the mountain just like a miner would go through a mountain to get to the other side, to build a tunnel through your brain. Whoa, it's a good life. Okay? We do this again through the meditation to access the quanta world, which is the world of information. It's just source code. We apply it, bring it down here, and we tunnel. Tunneling is actually a neuroscience word as well. Tunneling the brain. Tunneling. Okay? So this is already so much better than what we were doing before because it doesn't require the same concepts of time. It doesn't require that you go through and put a ton of work in. No, 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 no. It doesn't require any of that. And I'm looking for my eraser again. So, where are we at? Eraser? Perfect. Okay. And it's more guaranteed for results. So, here we go. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Eliminates just a little bit more room. Okay. Keeping things clean. Let's use an example. Let's say you're wanting to make more money, right? And I'm all for it. I like money. Money likes me. We like money. Okay. So, right here, money is our prize. That's where we're going for it. Now, a lot of people will say that you need to go to work for money. I would say that there's a million ways to make money. Some people would say that you need to put a lot of time in to make money. I would say you can make, just as much money in 30 seconds as you can in 30 years, right? We have the stock market, we have the lottery, we have people marrying each other, we have people divorcing each other. We have all sorts of ways to make money, okay? So when the people say that you need to have time or work or energy to make money, they're actually not right. They're not correct. Okay? And we're going to forgive them because they don't know any different. Okay? But what we do know different. And you're learning different right now. So we're going to do different just like you would do different if you were trying to do something different for your health. All right. So I love science again. So let's do this in a neuroscience type of way, or a biological way, I should say. The quantum world is like the DNA code. Okay? DNA is what makes up your beautiful body, okay? As you know it. But not all of your DNA is expressed. Okay? What happens is that certain genes are expressed in your DNA and they are created into RNA, and then M or T, which is a whole different lesson. We'll talk about those later, maybe one day, not in this video. But that RNA ends up eventually being your genetic expression. So when that's your genetic expression, we're able to create something different. Okay? So amazing. If you go and you find your DNA code, you can go and express something different in reality. Happens every single day. If you're a bodybuilder, you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever gone on a diet, you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever had a kid, you know what I'm talking about. But in this case, your DNA is the new info that's helping you go through the mountain rather than up around it and maybe not even making it. Okay? Now, you're like, Air, all fine and dandy. Cool, new information. Now I know where to go get it. But how do I apply it? And I would say that you're a master student and you're asking all the right questions, and I am here to actually help you. So I'm going to say, cool, we're going to give you some new information. Okay? Now you're going to hold this like little golden star. Woohoo! And you know that this golden star is important because you went and you got it from the realm of the quantum realm. Okay? Through that meditation. But now you're like, Air, how do I actually start digging through with this new information? Because just because you know something doesn't mean you can apply it and get where you want to go. Whoa! Who would have thought it, right? Been there, done that, right? Just because you know something doesn't mean that you're able to actually do it. Um, I've never wanted to be an NBA player, but just because I know how to play basketball doesn't mean that I know how to be like the absolute best. Okay? So, to do this, to take this beautiful new piece of information and be able to start going through the mountain, you have to feel. Some people hate that word. Some people hate the feeling word. Okay? Here is one of your problems in life. Okay? You are thinking your way through life and not feeling your way through life. Individuals that have accomplished these crazy goals that seem just unworldly understand feeling, feeling their way through life. Individuals stuck in the 9 to 5 matrix of the world think their way through life. And I am not down with the matrix, okay? So, to do this, you got to go back into your visualization. You got to go back into your headspace, okay? So, you're going to take your new source code because that was the first meditation, right? Now I got to go do a second, okay? And the second one is feeling, feeling the information. You're like, okay, here's the trick of it all. Here's the tunnel. This is your tool, right? You have to feel whatever this is and eliminate anything that takes away from that feeling. Now, I have a formula for that. We don't have enough time in this particular video to get into the creation formula, but I have a creation formula that's from the Bible as well as hard science that will blow your mind. Okay? You're going to find that in the performance mindset. It is legitimately 5 pieces, and people are always missing at least 2 of these pieces, hands down. So, that formula, super important because that feeling and being able to utilize that formula to get to where your goal is how you tunnel rather than go up the mountain. So, what I'm asking you to do for your own good, because it doesn't really matter to me. I'll be honest with you. Me sharing this information without it being applied, like that's your life, that's your choice, your autonomy. Okay? So, feeling the emotions around this. Okay? Let's say you want to make $10,000 a month. Okay? You have to feel like somebody that makes $10,000 a month. You've got to be able to hold the energy, the responsibility of someone that makes $10,000 a month. You also have to hold the energy of someone that doesn't have the doubt or the negativity or the fear around it. Okay? You have to hold the value. Ooh, that one's a triggering word for some people. Does your self value, your self worth, your self esteem reflect your goal? If it doesn't, of course you don't have it. So, a lot of these come into play when it comes to feeling your goal. Now you're like, air, okay, awesome. Once you capture that feeling, how long does it take? This is my favorite answer. It's immediate. It's already happened. You're already here. You're already smiling and winning at life and taking home all your money. Because time doesn't exist in the quantum world. It can happen in no time because it's not there. Now, here's the thing, that process of download going down from the quantum realm does require time, but it's not time as you think of it. It's the time that it takes you to meditate, to access the quantum world, and the time that it takes for you to bring it down and apply it through the feeling. That is your concept of time. Now, if you can never capture this feeling, then it's going to take you a high amount of time. Or if you have those blockages that I was mentioning earlier, we need to talk about those, right? Then that's going to increase your time. But let's say that you're able to really access this as quickly as possible. Go up. Go up. Find the information through meditation. Go down. Meditation. Apply it. You're there so fast that you're worried or thinking or creating. I say worried facetiously, but you are already on to the next one, whether that's more money or a whole different goal. But that, my dears, as I clear out my whole whiteboard, my colorful masterpiece, here we go, is quantum goal mountain. My spell check is definitely helping me out here, right? Okay, quantum goal mountain. So gorgeous, right? But remember, after you get quantum goal mountain down, you're going to have to figure out the formula. Because this formula is the difference on how fast you're able to accomplish quantum goal mountain. So I'll put that in a whole different video. It's most likely going to be in the actual mindset portal. So you can find that with the link in the bio. And then if you're like, error, I can't find this link whatsoever, and let's say you're on like YouTube or something when you see this, then I'm going to go ahead and say to come and find me at Air Kramer on Instagram, and the link in the bio will get you where you want to go. Okay? And that's kind of the perfect way to be able to end this whole thing. Let's get you where you want to go.